Hello students, welcome to Trunkie Academy, and today I will start with another topic, okay, and it from the another that is we are studying about the morphology of flowering plants, and in this chapter we studied about the morphology of roots, morphology of stems and their modifications, and morphology of leaf, okay. Then we studied about the structure of flower, okay, morphology of flowers and different parts of the flower. And today we study about the fruit, okay. So as I have already told you that fruit is the result of the fertilization. After fertilization, the zygote is formed and the flower changes into fruit, okay. So what is fruit? The fruit is characteristic feature of flowering plants, okay, because when there is flower, then only there will be fruit. So it is the characteristic feature of the flowering plants. It is a mature or ripened ovary. So when the fertilization takes place and zygote is formed, okay, and this ovary is ripened and changes into fruit after fertilization. So, okay, and this is very there's nothing important to mention about the example of fruits because you all are very much aware of different example of fruits, okay. Now fruits can be divided into two broad categories, that is the true fruit and false fruit, okay. So what are they? In case of the true fruits, again we can divide into three categories or three types, okay. Simple fruit, single flower, okay, Syncarpus gynoecium, where there will be Syncarpus gynoecium, I'll explain that. Aggregate fruit, single flower and Apocarpus gynoecium will be there, and compound fruit, entire inflorescence will have. So what will happen here, in simple fruit there will be only single flower and the fruit will be also single. In case of aggregate, single flower and Apocarpus gynoecium, okay, that we'll see in that picture later on, okay, after a few slides. So here, in case of the simple fruit, there are fleshy fruits. There are two types: fleshy fruit and dry fruits. Okay, fleshy fruits and differentiated pericarp is present, and in case of dry fruit, dry and undifferentiated pericarp is present. Okay. Dry fruits or dry undifferentiated pericarp means the example of dry dehiscent fruits, dry indehiscent fruit, and schizocarpic fruits. All these different types we will see in detail. Parthenocarpic fruit is another type. Fruit is formed without fertilization, so that is called parthenocarpic fruit without fertilization. Okay, the fruit is formed without the fertilization of the ovary. The process of formation of parthenocarpic fruit is called parthenocarpy. Okay, so this is since it is a parthenocarpic fruit, and process is the parthenocarpy. Okay, phenomenon. So banana, okay, it is formed by parthenocarpy and it is called parthenocarpic fruit. The best example is the banana. Okay. Fruit formed without fertilization of the ovary is parthenocarpic fruit, I told you, and the fruit consists of wall, pericarp, and seeds. Okay. Typically in fruit, what we find that there is a wall, pericarp, and the seeds are within the fruits. Pericarp may be dry or fleshy. Okay, like in dry fruits, it's dry, and in case of fleshy fruits, it's fleshy. Like in case of this is the pericarp, and this is the seed. Okay. Now, in case of the fleshy pericarp, it's very easily observable, and in dry pericarp, okay, like in almond, okay, these are the example dry pericarp. Example of the dry pericarp, almond. If pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into outer epicarp, the middle mesocarp, and the inner endocarp. Okay, if it is thickened, if the pericarp is thick and fleshy, then it is different. Now you see the epicarp. Now there will be the mesocarp, and then there will be the endocarp. Try to understand this epicarp. This is a mango. Okay, in mango you will find the epicarp. Okay, the pericarp. So there are two main parts: the pericarp and the seeds in the fruit. In a fruit, in normal typical fruit, there are pericarp and the seeds. Okay, if the pericarp is thick and fleshy, then that can be differentiated into three parts. Outer is called the epicarp, okay, and the mesocarp, the fleshy that we eat, the part which we eat, or the mango, okay, and endocarp, the inside, okay, the most. Now the innermost layer is the endocarp. Now in the most of the plants, the fruit develops from the ovary, and other floral parts degenerate and fall off. after the fertilization has taken when the fertilization takes place, okay, and there is the formation of zygote. So what will happen? Then there is the other floral, the ovary will changes into fruit, and other floral parts, okay, like calyx, corolla, and all, they will degenerate and fall off from the flower. Okay, the thalamus or the pedicel also contributes for the fruit formation. Okay, such fruits are called false fruit, like in apple. What happened? The thalamus or the pedicel part, thalamus part. Thalamus. When I was explaining about the flower, okay, the thalamus is the base on which the floral parts are based on, and the pedicel. So it's like this. Okay, this is the thalamus and this is the pedicel, the tubercle. So on this the calyx and then the corolla and the gynoecium, okay, ovary and the stamen are present. So this thalamus and this is a pedicel, okay, this also sometimes contribute to the formation of fruit, and these are called the false fruit. Okay, so here the apple is actually the thalamus. Okay, now this false fruit here in case of the strawberry. Okay, false fruit. Which part of the flower contributes to formation of fruit? Is there any part of the flower like thalamus or pedicel along with the ovary forming the fruit? That is the false fruit. It's not only the thalamus, okay, along with any part of the flower. Now, true fruits develop from the fertilized ovary, okay, and they are typical, and they have got pericarp and the seeds inside the fruit. Ovules develop into shoots, so ovary changes into fruit. So that we have already studied in previous classes. Also ovary changes to fruit, okay, and ovules in the ovary changes into, or they form the seeds of the fruit. Okay, now see the ovary. In case of this here, you can see that okay, ovules forming the seeds, okay, and ovary forming the what do you call that? That is the fruit. Okay, there is a great variation in the nature of pericarp in fleshy fruit. The fleshy part of the fruit, the pericarp. Okay, if it is fleshy, and we find in different plants, okay, in different fruits, it has it is of different types. Okay, so there is a lot of variations in case of these fleshy fruits, the pericarp. Based on the nature of pericarp, true fruits can be classified into fleshy fruits. Pericarp is divided into epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. As I showed you the picture of the mango, okay, dry fruits, they have a dry and indivisible pericarp. Okay, the pericarp cannot be there. The pericarp is so dried and it is just so attached with the seeds, so it is indivisible with the seed. Okay, so pericarp is indivisible. Now, pericarp's nature is one of the characteristics used to identify the fleshy fruit into 5 subtypes. Pericarp's nature. How is the pericarp? Okay, what is the nature of the pericarp? Is the important characteristic to divide the fleshy fruits or pericarp, fleshy pericarp fruit into 5 subtypes. That is, the fleshy fruits can be divided into drupe, berry, hesperidium, and pepo and pomy. Okay, so this, try to understand it. There naturally, or typically, there is the pericarp and the seeds in the fruit. Some fruits are fleshy fruits and some are dry fruits. Okay. In case of dry fruits, the pericarp is so thin and dry, it is not indivisible. Okay, it is not distinguishable. But in case of the fleshy fruit, there may be variation in different plants and different fruits. There is a lot of variation in pericarp, if it is fleshy pericarp. So depending on the nature of the pericarp, okay, there may be 5 categories, 5 types, that is drupe, berry, hesperidium, pepo, and pomy. Now, drupe, the fruit develops from the monocarpellary superior ovary. Now, when I was explaining about the structure of flower, I told you what is superior ovary, what is inferior ovary, what is epigynous, what is perigynous, okay, and what is the hypogynous. Okay, I explained all these things in yesterday's class when I was discussing the structure of flower. So the fruit develops from monocarpellary, single carpel, okay, and there will be superior ovary, okay. So that means that all the floral parts are below the ovary, okay, and the ovary is superior. So that is the monocarpellary superior ovary. They are one-seeded. only single seed, because there is only one carpel, monocarpel. Mango and coconut. In mango also you find only one seed. And okay, so mango and coconut are the example of the drupe fruits. Okay, pericarp is well differentiated into an outer thin epicarp, like we find in case of the mango, the green. Okay, and then it changes into yellow color. Middle fleshy edible part that we eat, mesocarp, and the inner stony hard endocarp is found. Okay, so that is the three part of the pericarp. Okay, that's divided into. So this is the drupe, the typical fruit. Okay, drupe in mango. Okay, now you see, yeah, you can see that epicarp, the fleshy, mesocarp that we, and then the stony hard part, endocarp. Okay, so this is how we see in the drupe. Okay, mango. Coconut, it is also drupe. There are here is also mesocarp is fibrous. Mesocarp, the fibrous, the outermost. The epicarp is divided. They modified into like fibrous structure. Okay, so here it is, and then there is the liquid, is the endosperm. Okay, now berry, mesocarp and endocarp are fused to form the pulp, and the seeds are hard. So try to understand. Here also mesocarp and endocarp. Okay, they have got epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. But here in this case a berry, mesocarp, the middle one, that is fleshy one, and the endocarp, they are fused to form the pulp, and the seeds are hard. Like in case of the berries develop from the bi or multicarpellary syncarpous gynoecium. Okay, so this is from the bi or two or more than two carpel flowers. Okay, so here guava. Okay, and the tomato. So what it means, the mesocarp and the endocarp is fused. Okay, and it has formed some pulp, like in the tomato. Tomato is actually fruit. We though we use it as the vegetables, but this is the fruit. Okay, and the seeds are there. The seeds are hard. Okay, grapes also. Okay, the mesocarp and endocarp is fused, and the seeds are hard. Okay, now pepo. Epicarp is like a rind. Okay, you see this. Mesocarp is fleshy, and the endocarp is smooth. Mesocarp is fleshy, and endocarp, the innermost, is smooth. It develops from the tricarpellary unilocular inferior ovary. What is the unilocular means single chamber for the ovule in the ovary. The unilocular. Okay, it develops in the tricarpellary, three carpel. Okay, it develops from the flower in which there are three carpels. Okay, and in which there is ovary with unilocular. Which is unilocular means only one chamber for the ovule. So that is the example of the cucumber. Okay, so unilocular inferior ovary. That means other floral parts like calyx, corolla, stamen, gynoecium, all are above this ovary. So ovary is inferior. Okay, so the cucumber is the example of the fruit that is called pepo. Now Hesperidium, it is characterized by the leathery epicarp with many volatile oil glands. Peppery mesocarp, thin pepper-like mesocarp, and endocarp wall bears juicy hairs. Okay, endocarp, the innermost, they bear the juicy hairs. Now see, the Hesperidium develops from the multicarpellary syncarpous, multilocular, and superior ovary. So all this term I already explained. There is many chambers for ovules, so there will be many ovules, and it is from the superior ovary, Hesperidium, like in citrus. Okay, so here we find that the leathery epicarp. You can see, it's a leathery epicarp, and the volatile oil glands are present. When you just squeeze that, the covering of these citrus oranges, you'll find some oil glands, volatile oil glands are there, and then the peppery mesocarp, a very thin covering. Mesocarp is very thin, and then endocarp is bearing the juicy hairs. Okay, that we eat. So here in this case of Hesperidium fruit, okay, example citrus or orange, we are eating the endocarp. Okay, and it develops a multicarpellary syncarpous, multilocular superior ovary. Now pomi is the fruit that develops from the inferior ovary of bi or multicarpellary gynoecium. Okay, bi or more than two carpel. Okay, gynoecium. Okay, the flower which has two carpel or more than two carpel. Okay, and this is and in which the ovary is inferior, means the other floral parts are above the ovary that I have already explained yesterday. Okay, so gynoecium surrounded by fleshy thalamus. Okay, gynoecium, the fleshy thalamus, and the endocarp is cartilaginous. Endocarp means the innermost one. Okay, now apple, you can see the gynoecium is surrounded by. Okay, this is the inferior. Okay, and the inferior ovary, the other floral parts are above. So that thalamus surrounds the gynoecium. Okay, and in the and that forms a fleshy thalamus. Example is the apple. Now we go through some questions. Fertilized ovary is called as a fruit. Fruit. Okay, so it is the fruit. Now, parthenocarpic fruit is formed without fertilization of ovary, with fertilization of ovary, before fertilization, none of these. Okay, so here it is a fruit formed without fertilization of the ovary. I told you, parthenocarpy is the phenomenon or the process by which this happens without. Okay, like in case of banana, example is the banana. Okay, without fertilization. Now, example of mango or cashew, banana is the banana, most common example. Now, if pericarp is thick and fleshy, the fruit is generally differentiated into. Now, this is important for example. If the pericarp is thick and fleshy, then the fruit is generally differentiated into three parts: pericarp, mesocarp, and the endocarp. Okay, so here three parts. Okay, or 6 parts. Is the three parts: epicarp, okay, not pericarp, epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Okay, I told you. I think I told you pericarp is epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. Okay, the three parts. False fruits are formed from ovary, ovule, thalamus, or thalamus or pedicel. It is formed from the thalamus or pedicel. Okay, so there is a false fruit. It's not the true fruit because it is not from the ovary. It is formed from the thalamus or pedicel. The example of drupe fruit is guava, or cucumber, or citrus, or is mango. This is mango. Drupe is the most common example. I mean the typical fruit. Okay, mango and coconut. Okay, it's mango. Drupe. Now, fruit, in case of the dry fruit, okay, there is little modification and there are changes in the structure. Dry fruits, if pericarp is dry or non-fleshy, the fruits are called dry fruits. Okay, in the pericarp. Pericarp, in case of the fleshy fruit, this pericarp is differentiated into. Now, but this is the one point we must remember that in typical flower, the main broad two parts of the flower is the pericarp and the seeds. Ovary after fertilization forms the zygote, and then ovary changes into fruit, which has got two broad parts, main parts, broadly they are into two parts. That is the pericarp and the seeds. The pericarp is fleshy, can be differentiated into three parts: epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. If the pericarp, one of the two components of the fruit, seed and the pericarp. If the pericarp is dry and non-fleshy, the fruits are called dry fruits. Okay. So example is the groundnut and mustard. Okay. So here what happens? The pericarp is dry and non-fleshy. Okay. And it has formed and the seeds are there within. So it is the example the groundnut and the mustard. Okay. These are the example of the dry fruits. The dry fruits may break open and liberate the seeds, are called dehiscent type, like in say legumes. In this type, fruits are dehisced dorsiventrally into two halves, like pea and beans. You see, they dehisce. So this pea is actually the fruit. Okay, but you use this as the technical term. Okay, this is the fruit. The seeds are there, and this is dorsiventral, they open. Okay, like in legumes, pea and the beans. Okay, so this is even the beans also is the fruit. So this is the dehiscent type. Okay, so this dry fruit is the dehiscent type dry fruit, but the dehiscent type. Okay, dehiscent type, because dehiscent means they open and liberate the seeds for the germination. Okay, dehiscence, this is called dehiscence. To release, to open, to break the fruit and open the seeds. Okay, that is they call the dehiscence. So this is the dehiscent type dry fruit, pea and the beans. Okay, capsule. Now another is the capsule. In this type of fruit, dehisces in different ways to liberate their seeds. Okay, liberate the seeds, and that is the example is the cotton and the datura. Okay, you see, they are liberating the releasing the seeds or opening the fruit to release or liberate the seeds, but in different way. Okay, like in cotton and datura. What they do? If dry fruits may remain unopened and liberate the seeds only after disintegration of the pericarp, then the dry fruit is called indehiscent. Here, in case of the capsule, what is it's a capsule like, and it is just breaking the capsule and the seeds are liberating. Okay, it's a capsule. In case of the cotton and the datura, capsule. Fruits are type of capsule. Now, in case of the indehiscent type, it is the pericarp is fully disintegrating. It is degenerating. It will not open. It will not break. Rather, it will remain like that, and it will after decomposition, or you can say after disintegration of the pericarp, then the seeds will be visible. Okay, then seeds will come out. It is single seeded. Okay, these are called the indehiscent type. Okay, and there again are of different types. Caryopsis, in this type of this fruit, pericarp and seed coat fused together as seen in the grass, like rice. Okay, so what happens here? We see that pericarp and the seed coat fuse together, and example is the rice. Okay, so pericarp and the seed coat. There is a seed coat. Okay, above covering the seed. So that seed coat and the pericarp is fused. Okay, so that, as I told you, the two main components, pericarp and seed. So in case of these caryopsis, the pericarp is fused with the seed coat, like in rice. Okay, so husk is there, then pericarp that is fused with the seed. Okay, so endosperm, then the embryo is there. Okay, so now this is a rice is the best example of calypso. Now nut, it develops from multicarpellary syncarpous unilocular ovary, and here the pericarp is stony like cashew. Okay, the pericarp has changed. Okay, it is stony. Okay, like in the case of the cashew. Okay, now here false fruit and the true fruit. Okay, the two parts you can see, in false fruit and the fruit, true fruit, both you can see. Now Cypsella, the single-seeded fruit, and is characterized by the persistent peppers-like calyx. It's small peppers-like, okay, thin, okay, calyx, okay. Peppers-like calyx means thin, small, that is the single-seeded fruit, okay, Cypsella. Like in case of the tridex or okay, peppers. This is small, thin hair like peppers. So this is the example is the tridex. Okay, schizocarpic fruit. Now, in this fruits split into one seeded bits called mericarps. Now, this is a different mericarps. What happens? The fruit splits open into one seeded. Okay, one seeded bits called mericarps. Now, see the acacia and the castor. Okay, the fruit open, split. See, like this, okay, and one seed. The split open, and this is the castor. Now, constriction is there, and this is a mericarp. Okay, after the constriction, the main portion is the mericarp. Okay. Now, aggregate fruits. Okay, in the beginning when we started studying about the fruit, we said aggregate. If the carpels are many and free, okay, and each carpel of such apocarpus gynaeceum develop into fruitlet, means small fruit, and then aggregate, okay, small fruitlet. Then such bunch of fruitlets are called aggregate fruits. What happens? The carpels are many. If, for example, if there are multicarpellary ovary is there are so many carpels in the ovary. So if all the carpels, the ovary of the carpels, all the carpels, ovary of all the carpels, they changes into fruit, so they give rise to fruitlets. Okay, this is called aggregate fruits. Okay, like custard apple. Okay, Annona squamosa. This is a aggregate fruits, fruitlets. So each one is a fruitlet. So together you forming, but there is fruitlets, small one. Okay, so composite fruit. The entire inflorescence develops into fruit known as composite fruits or compound fruits. When the inflorescence, the arrangement of the flowers, when the whole inflorescence, not only the single flower, okay, but all the inflorescence, together they are forming the fruit, then it's called composite fruit or compound fruit, like this. In case of pineapple or jackfruit, okay, leafy bracts, you can say leafy bracts are present outside, and individual fruits. The individual fruits are there, but these are the arrangement of the flowers, arrangement of the ovary, and these all together are formed. The whole inflorescence is turning into the fruit, okay, that they call the composite fruit, okay, and also in case of the jackfruit, okay, so they are forming the inflorescence, composite fruit. Now seeds. The ovules after fertilization develops into seeds. As I told you, the fruits changes, the ovary changes into or develops into fruit, and ovules develops into seeds. Okay, so after fertilization, ovules develops into the seeds. A seed is made up of a seed coat and an embryo. A small embryo is there, which develops into the new plant. Okay, so embryo is there. So what happens? The embryo is made up of an embryonal axis and one or two cotyledons. So list of some important edible fruits are here. Botanical name Anarcadium occidentalis. Okay, it is cashew. Okay, one of the important. And family is Anarcadiaceae. Okay, the type of fruit is nut. Okay, and morphology of chief edible part is cotyledon and fleshy pedicel. It's a false fruit. Ananas, sativus, pineapple, and bromeliaceae. Bromelain compound is present in this fruit, so name is bromeliaceae. Okay, so this is the pineapple, and the type of fruit is sorosis, compound fruit. Okay, the inflorescence and juicy succulent bracts are there. Inflorescence and juicy succulent bracts that is eaten as the edible part. Okay, and this is the edible part. Okay, now Ananas squamosa, that is the custard apple. It belongs to the family Ananaceae, and this type of fruit is the aggregate fruit, because all the smalls, okay, in the custard apple, they are the single fruit, and they form the the fruitlets are together forming the aggregate fruit or aggregate berries. So the mesocarp and endocarp are edible part of each fruitlet. Arachis hypogae, this is a groundnut, belongs to the family Fabaceae, okay, and that is the leguminous plant, and it is the type of the legume, and cotyledonous is the cotyledon part, the seed, that is the edible part. Okay, now another is the Atocarpus integrifolia. Okay, Atocarpus integrifolia. Atocarpus integrifolia, that is a jackfruit. This is the scientific name, and it belongs to the family Moraceae. Okay, and again this is also the composite fruit. Okay, like the pineapple. Okay, and it has got the succulent perianth. I told you in the yesterday's class while explaining about the structure of flower, when the petals and the sepals, they are fused together, so we are not able to differentiate between the sepals and the petals. That is called the perianth. So here the edible part is the succulent perianth. Okay. Now in case of citrus sinensis, that means the orange, sweet orange. Okay, so it belongs to the Rutaceae, and the type of the fruit is the Hesperidium, because the juicy succulent placental hairs of endocarp is there. Okay, so endocarp is modified into hairs, juicy succulent hairs inside. Okay, so endocarp is given. Now botanical name is Cocos nucifera, coconut. Okay, belongs to the Ericaceae. Previously it was called palmy. The new name is the Ericaceae. So in case of Ericaceae, this is all a drupe like mango, and the edible part is the endosperm. The white part is the endosperm. Okay. Now here, in case of cucumber, it is Cucumis sativus, and belongs to the family Cucurbitaceae. The type of fruit is the pepo, mesocarp, endocarp, and placenta is eatable. Okay, so that the seed that is there. Okay, the placenta, you can see the placenta in the central region. Okay, mesocarp. Now Other example, okay. Dolichos lab, okay. This is a bean, okay. Though it is used as the vegetables, this is the fruit, dry fruit actually, and belongs to the family Fabaceae, okay. And the type of fruit is legume, okay. And the part that is edible is the cotyledons, okay. The seed. Now fig, Ficus bengalensis, belongs to the family Moraceae, and Cyconus, it is compound fruit, and fleshy peduncle, okay, fleshy peduncle. Now the botanical name, in case of this tomato, it is the Lycopersicon esculentum, okay. It belongs to the family Solanaceae, okay. The type of fruit is berry, and mesocarp, endocarp, and placenta is edible part, okay. The placenta, okay. That means everything is edible, okay. In case of the type of fruit is the berry. Mangifera indica is a drupe, the most common example, and berry, it belongs to Anacardiaceae, okay. So it belongs to the family Anacardiaceae, and the family this fruit is drupe type, where we find that the pericarp is differentiated into epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp. And the mesocarp is the edible part of the this fruit, Mangifera indica, belonging to the Anacardiaceae. Now, another is the Oryza sativa. This is also fruit. We also use the grain as a staple food, okay, cooked as well. This is the rice paddy, okay, belongs to the family Poaceae, and the type of the fruit is Caryopsis, okay. The endosperm is the edible part, okay. Pisum sativum, the garden pea, or belongs to the Fabaceae or Leguminosae. Earlier it was called the Leguminosae, and now it is called the Fabaceae. The type of fruit is legume, and the part edible is the cotyledon. Okay. Pyrus malus, the apple, it belongs to the family Rosaceae and Pomi, and the edible part is the thalamus, is the false fruit. Okay, because the ovary is surrounded by the thalamus. Okay, so this fleshy part, thalamus, is the edible part in case of the apple or family Pyrus malus. Now we'll go through some questions quickly. Dry fruits are fleshy, or non-fleshy. Dry, it's very easy. It's simply it is non-dry, dry and non-fleshy. Examples of dry fruits are groundnut, apple, cashew, both 1 and 3. Both 1 and 3. Okay, groundnut and cashew. The pericarp is stony in, very interesting. Drupe, or it is the pepo, or nut, or asparagus. Very easy. It is the nut. Okay, pericarp is changed into the stony, hard, okay, in case of the nut. Okay. Now the pericarp and seed coat are fused together in cypsela. Pericarp, okay, that means that the two main I have told you, pericarp and seed coat are fused together in cypsela or nut or compound fruit or caryopsis. It is the caryopsis, like rice, I told you. Okay, rice or paddy. Okay, pericarp and seed coat are fused together. Peppers-like calyx is seen in Acacia, rice, or tridex, or jackfruit. It is a tridex. Okay, so this peppers-like calyx is in tridex. Okay, example of aggregate fruit is the cashew, or pineapple, or custard apple, or cotton. It is the custard apple. Fruitlets. Okay. Fruitlets are there, so it's an aggregate fruit. The example of, because each fruitlet is forming one, cluster, the main fruit. Okay, so the small fruitlets are there, and they are forming the main fruit, the fruit body. So that is the custard apple. Okay. Now this was all about the fruit and types of fruits, and we studied about what are different types of fruits. Okay. Simple fruits, and again there are the like how the pericarp are different. In different fruits are of different types depending on the plant. Are different depending on the types of fruit. The pericarp may be different, and depending on the pericarp difference in the pericarp, that there are different types of fruits. Okay, we saw with examples. Okay. Few questions sometimes asked from this topic, okay, but you should remember about the drupe, okay, about the aggregate fruit, about the cypsela, characteristics, these all are important for the exam, and examples also you should know, few examples, okay, that I told you while teaching this topic. Okay, so this was all about the fruit and the types of fruit. The next class will go to another topic. Okay, so what you will do now is this: right after this class, I am going to send you the this called the DPP, okay, the daily practice problem. So you know very well, I am repeating this from the first day of the class, okay, and today I am also telling you that when you go to Academic Booster, log into Academic Booster, then you click on the resources, okay, and if you go on to the writing material, then you will find the DPP, okay, resources and then the writing material, okay. So when you click on the writing material, you find the DPP sent by us, okay. So you download the DPP, okay, that is on the topic taught today, okay, on the topic that we have discussed today, that you download and go through the questions, okay, and answer those questions and send back to us, okay. So we will evaluate those answers that you have done, and will then give the remarks, okay. So thank you for joining and listening today. Okay, again tomorrow we'll meet at this same time with another topic. Okay, so till then, goodbye, take care.